You want to know what a narcissist's number one nightmare is? It's an empath that he cannot control. After all that he done put it through, after all of the ways that he done damaged her and he got used to it, when that narcissist grip around her soul starts to loosen because she's prying it away with her intuition, her confidence, her self-esteem starting to rise, that's what keeps a narcissist up at night. Matter of fact, let me ask you a question. Comment down below, if this applies. Have you ever started to see a narcissist's true colors and then things got worse? Like it got more challenging, things got more volatile. Like the more you woke up to who this person really is, the more they started acting up and showing you different levels of all of the ways they weren't right for you from the beginning. Put down in the chat if that's ever been you. Because I'm going to tell you the number one way to both break and stay free from a narcissist. But I'm going to get to that in the end because there's a couple more points we got to get to that's going to make that make sense. But watch all the way through to the end. I'm going to tell you the number one way to rid yourself not only of that particular narcissist, but everyone that thinks that they can come in your life and repeat the same patterns. The first thing you got to do whenever you start breaking free from the narcissist is understand there's two parts to it. There's a physical breaking free, and then there is the mental breaking free. Yeah, those chains, they go deep. The first thing you got to do is you got to get really clear on how you were dependent on that narc. The very first step to breaking free from a narcissist is getting really clear and understood on all the ways you had integrated them into your life and now have become dependent. Be it finances, be it just the way that you did your life, be it the house, the businesses that you guys got together, be it co-parenting. You know, sometimes you can get dependent on the person just in how they show up as a parent, and that's totally normal. But if this person is a narcissist, that's going to determine your game plan to finally get free. And a part of getting really clear about the ways that you're dependent on them is also going to make it clear to you that you're not really in love with this person. This is not really a relationship. This is a toxic attachment. And once you get there, you'll start to feel strong enough to make some moves to end this pattern. But the second thing that you got to do in order to break free and then stay free is talk to somebody, preferably somebody who witnessed this person being narcissistic to you. But the next thing you have to do in order to break and stay free is access strength that is outside of yourself. Typically, if you're with somebody whose whole agenda is to hurt you and break you down every day, over time of being with them, you've probably deteriorated in that strength you would normally have to leave a situation like this. So now it's great if you can get connected to somebody who's going to help keep you strong, who will lend you their strength whenever you don't have enough of your own. Somebody who can be kind of that accountability partner whenever the ways that they've poisoned you start to come up and try to keep you weak, too weak to lead them. Now you got somebody else who has your best interest at heart, that loves you, that been seeing the narc from the very beginning most likely and was trying to warn you the whole time, but of course you wanted to give him a chance. Get access to that person again. Get rid of the shame that, they're going to judge me. If that person is really for you, they're going to love you way more than going to judge you. And they're going to be critical in you making the moves that you need to make in order to get out of that situation. The third thing that you must do in order to break free from a narcissist is practice reframing. Reframe everything that they do because they're going to come with a myriad of different things to keep you stuck, to keep you in their grasp. They're going to be nice. They may be evil. Whatever it is that they think that they can do to push that button that's going to keep you under their control, they will do. And the one way that you can make sure you take that control from all of those things that would otherwise work is reframe. Reframe meaning you're going to shift the paradigm. They do something nice, understand it's manipulative. There's an agenda behind it. They do something mean or tell you or threaten you or something like that. Understand it's all to keep you fearful. It's all to break your spirit. Now I have to give a disclaimer. This is very powerful, but it's a two-edged sword. If you're dealing with somebody who did you wrong, hurt you, lied to you, etc., that doesn't automatically mean they're a narcissist. And the reason why I want to say that is because if you use this aspect of reframing in the wrong situation, it's actually going to hinder any conflict resolution. Just because a person did you wrong or hurt you doesn't mean they're a narcissist. Now, they did something narcissistic, still put that boundary in place. But understand, once you get to this point, there's no turning back. Once you get to the point of reframing, There's no turning back. And if they are truly a narcissist, that's exactly what you want to happen. Absolutely no turning back. Reframing is not just closing the door on any access they had to impress you, to love bomb you, to whatever. It's locking that door and saying, even if it is love that you're giving from that broken, wretched, ice cold heart of yours, I don't want it. And now I'm making sure it never penetrates and accesses my core again, to where I believe in you, I invest in you, and I become vulnerable again to you. That's the power of reframing. And if I can be completely honest, when it comes to reframing with the narc, especially after you've broken free from them, you also have to go through a season of reframing everything that you inherited from that narc in terms of your internal narratives, your internal dialogue to yourself, the way that you see yourself. I call it a selfish season. If you are breaking free from a narc, you need time, not just alone, but alone while putting in the work to restore and rebuild. No, it's not your fault that they did whatever they did to you, and now you left to pick up the pieces, but it is your responsibility to pick up those pieces, make it whole again, so that not only can you love somebody else, but you can also love yourself. Matter of fact, if you want my help in getting through that process, if you want my mentorship privately, click the link that you see down in the description. Join my Selfish Season Challenge. I have modules. I'm doing a live chat every single week. And in about 15 days, you will be free from that narcissist and from all the ways that they impacted you. But back to what I was saying. The fourth thing you have to do in order to break free from that narcissist is create separation. You remember all the things that you identified, the ways that you were dependent on them, the ways that you needed them, you had convinced yourself, the way that you had integrated them into your life in a way where it's really difficult, if not impossible, to function without them. Now you want to start creating separation. This is your game plan. As you get ready to leave that narcissist, this is you creating the stability for whenever you get out there, you don't have such a rough landing and fall and then feel like, you know what, I got to go back because I don't have anybody else. So if it was financial, this is the part where you start either developing a skill, starting a business, putting in applications to other jobs, saving up some money, or getting access to somebody who maybe has money in your family, and you work that out how you want to pay them back if they even want to be paid back. But you find a way to survive, because the truth of the matter is, you know, if you can't eat, you don't have a roof over your head, it may be very difficult to stay strong and rebuild the way that you need to. And if it's not financial, but it's mental or what have you, you want to tap into other sources for inspiration, for guidance, to kind of clear up some of that clutter that was created whenever they gaslit you all of those years or months that you were with them. You want to start creating separation. You want to start creating more individuality in how you go about your day to day. And then the last thing you got to do in order to break free from a narcissist, of course, is go cold turkey, no contact. And I would say if they're truly a narc, you probably need to do this without them having any idea that you're going to do it. No warm up, no 2 weeks notice. I'm talking about while they are away, leave. Pack your stuff, the whatever you need, the minimum that you need, and go. Now, disclaimer again, if there are children involved, understand you have to consider what impact that can have on them if the narcissist was that way to you, but they were a great father. If they were good to the children, you got to be careful. I would say the way that you want to handle that, if you're dealing with a narcissist and you have children with them and that person has been good to the children, or the children rely on them for a certain type of love and it's basically been there, you need to create a way for whenever you do leave, could still leave, but create a way that the children can still have access to that narcissist while keeping you safe. That may mean you get somebody involved who's going to be the one that's going to be getting the children from one place to the next, but you don't want to create abandonment wounds in the children just because it is necessary for you to abandon that narcissist. It gets really tricky, but there is a right way to do it. I'm putting that disclaimer there because even if you are trying to save yourself from this toxic relationship, you don't want to inadvertently create a pattern in your children that's going to play out in their adulthood where they're now in toxic relationships for a whole different reason. But if it was abuse, if you're in fear for your safety, if it was a dangerous situation, also trust that children are resilient. No, you don't want to purposely put them in a situation where they're getting abandonment wounds, but if it's life or death, if you were getting hurt, like physically hurt, you need to get out and trust that your children will be able to heal, and especially as they get older, they will understand. I know a lot of people who like to stay in these situations, or they don't like to, but they do because they're afraid of that part. And they think, well, I don't want to hurt my children because my children need them, et cetera, et cetera. Also understand that children can heal, and they may need to see that you were strong enough to leave that narcissist, even if it was initially hurtful for them. in order to save them in the long term. Matter of fact, I'll add one more thing that you need to be prepared to do, and that's getting a great therapist. I'm your internet big brother. I'm always here for you, but I'm also an advocate for mental health professionals to step in and do what they do. But of course, all of them ain't, first off, all therapists ain't made equal. I'm just gonna keep it real with you. Some people read a book and they go out here and they guiding people's lives and they really weren't called to that office. So you gotta go ahead and put in your due diligence now to start finding that person that can help you the way that you need to be helped. But even with the absolute best therapist, I compare it to going to Home Depot when you got something to fix at your house. All the great therapists, mentor, coach, myself, anybody else that you find value in, all we can do is equip you. That's all we can do. Just like when you go to Home Depot, you can get the drill set, but then the work is on you. You still have to be prepared to get the tools and then use the tools consistently with commitment. That part is on you. And that brings me to the second half of this conversation, is what to expect whenever you do leave that narcissist and what happens if you take them back. Because one thing that will pull you back in that space of being a survivor of narcissistic abuse is considering, well, if I took them back, maybe things would be different. Maybe things would be better. I'm gonna tell you what you can expect if you take a narcissist back. Deja vu. It's like petting a snake, getting bit, and then petting that snake again, expecting them to turn into a rabbit or a little puppy. They didn't stop being a snake just because they saw you bleed. If anything, they got more intent on making you bleed even more because that's exactly what they wanted. And the most dangerous thing about taking the narc back is that this time you're taking back a more educated narcissist. You're taking somebody back who knows how to hurt you, knows what you're in fear of, knows what you're insecure about, knows what buttons to push, knows how you respond whenever you're starting to show some signs of life and coming back to them, and what happens whenever, you know what, you're finally starting to leave and now they got to take it up a notch. They know who's important to you. They know whose opinions that you value, who you value, period. And therefore they know how to hurt you even worse. So you got to be careful about taking not even careful. You got to be vigilant about not taking a narcissist back, because a narcissist even coming back is an example of how life will teach you a lesson over and over and over again until you finally learn it. So at some point, if you want to break that pattern, you got to use your intuition and graduate. Now, another thing to consider when it comes to even the thought about taking a narc back are the challenges you're going to face. Narcissists think in terms of ownership. So whenever you finally break free and you say, you know what, I'm gone, they're going to internalize it as if somebody stole their property, and they're going to be further injured, which means they're going to have more malevolence. They're going to be more malicious if they do come back, because now you've done something wrong to them. Of course, they're a victim. Of course, they're not at fault. So consider that if you were to come back, they're going to try and finish what they began when they first started breaking you and deteriorating you as the person that you are. So this person is now more equipped, of course, to play those games and all these different things, but now you're also equipped to see through their games and force them to play with somebody else. Now, something you must consider, like I said before, not everybody is a narcissist. Why am I saying that? Because if you think everybody's a narcissist, after you've gone through what you've gone through and you notice all of these signs, you've watched these other videos about what makes a narc, you may start to suffer from what I call narcissistic phobia, where everybody and everything is out to get you. And the danger of that is you may have a relapse to where it's so overwhelming, even though you've broken free from the narcissist, you still can't live life. You can't function, because now behind every bush, somebody must be trying to get to you. And the part that we're going to get to in a bit is how to position yourself for somebody who's going to give you a love that's totally contrary to everything that you tried to get the narcissist to love you as and give you in the relationship, but you cannot even be receptive. You can't even walk that road towards your higher self, your best self, for a person that's equally yoked if you have this phobia about everybody being a narcissist. And just as a quick note of transparency, a couple of years ago, actually it was January of 2018, I made a video on narcissism. I never seen it. Still to this day, I don't know if there's another video that's ever gone viral on all of social media about narcissism. It did over 20 million views. And then a few months later, all of these different YouTube channels and people started popping up, focusing strictly on narcissism, which initially I thought was great. We're gonna get the word out. But a lot of those channels were just fear mongering and throwing stuff out there to get people, basically preying on people who were vulnerable and making everybody scared of narcissists and thinking narcissists are everywhere. I even took a step back from talking about the subject because I didn't want to add to the problem even more. But that does exist. Narcissists do exist. And let me say this again. If it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it sounds like, look like a duck, smell like it ain't a camel. So do understand that these narcissists exist, but the whole point of you being able to recognize when a narcissist is present or somebody's being narcissistic is not so you can take the place of a mental health professional and diagnose them as a narcissist. The whole point of recognizing these types of red flags is so that you can protect yourself from anybody who's even being narcissistic in their relational style of engaging with you. That's the most important thing. Now, with that being said, while not every person that hurts you does something wrong is a narcissist, you also have to understand that sometimes a person may not come across narcissist or narcissistic because they're a covert narc. A covert narc is probably the most dangerous type of narcissist because they slip under the radar. Now, a lot of people think, well, that's just the type of person or the type of narc that's very manipulative and they come off like a sweet guy or whatever. I'm gonna tell y'all, the covert narc typically tries to use something righteous as a front for their narcissism. So a lot of times they're extremely spiritual and they claim that everything that they're doing is because they're close to God and people aren't, and it's just boldness for the right thing. Or they've been through a lot and they're a victim, and as a victim, it's righteous for that victim to stand up. So they're gonna do these things because they're bold as an overcomer. Don't get fooled by these people that try to front all of this fake righteousness and fake standards and principles, but then you see the end result of what they're doing is just tearing down everybody around them because they feel like they're actually more important. So be very mindful. The reason why I say that is because you'll have somebody who claims they've changed their life, upgraded, etc. But all they've done is they found a more palatable disguise for their narcissism. Instead of being grandiose and look at me and I'm so important, now it is I'm on the front of this fight for the right thing and I've given my life to da-da-da-da. And all they're getting ready to do is manipulate, hurt, damage, destroy people, but falsely co-sign something else, some other great cause, some other righteous cause. So while a covert narc may be great at tricking people because they've spent years cultivating this ability to trick and manipulate and deceive everybody, God gave you a disguised decoder in the form of your intuition. That's why you got to trust it every time. And the last thing I'm going to say on this is you got to break free, not just for yourself, but for everybody who's involved. Anytime you deal with a narcissist, understand everybody that you love goes through that relationship, just not exactly to the exact same extent that you did. They see that you're hurt, that your friends lost a friend. Your mama lost a daughter, and especially in terms of how happy you were, what places you were going in life, all that she had invested in you. Everybody around you feels the impact of the fact that you went to that person and they hacked away at your spirit. So one way to make sure you break free and you stay free from a narcissist is to remember all of the things that they took from you and therefore took from those that you love. So root yourself, even as you have now not in a place of being able to love yourself the exact same way, root yourself in the love of those who love you that you may right now love more than yourself. Like when you break free from a narcissist, your whole lineage is breaking free from the trauma, free from the gaslighting, free from the years of your life wasted. So whenever you break free from a narcissist, understand it's a blessing. God is giving you a second chance at life. Don't waste that chance giving another chance to somebody you should have never gave the first chance to begin with. But those are just my thoughts. I'm your internet brother looking out per usual. And again, if you've ever been in this situation, you must take action. I don't care how you do it, but you must take action to break that cycle. Get off the hamster wheel. If you want my help, again, click the link that you see down in the description. Click the link in the comments or whatever, and come join the Selfish Season Challenge, a 15-day challenge, where I give you not only the information, but also the personal support, live chats, VIP access to my self-crowned community of other like-minded individuals who are taking back their power. The link is down in the description, but that enrollment, it only lasts for the next 20 to 30 people because I have to be able to make sure I give everybody my full attention whenever we do these live chats and I'm answering these questions and I'm giving assistance. So if you want in right now, click the link that you see down there and I'll see you on the other side. And one last thing, if you got value from this, you're gonna wanna check out this video right here. Don't stop. You're on a roll, you're getting somewhere. Keep the education going. This video right here, it's gonna change your life. I hate it.